Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. Hello and good morning or afternoon or evening to you wherever you are listening. My name is Shelley Overton, and you are listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio, and I am extremely happy to be here and excited to have you with me, and hopefully you're happy that I'm with you. So much. Okay, so let's just get business out of the way. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and this is the AstroEnergy Show. I talk every week about astrology, about different aspects of astrology, about what's going on in the heavens. I try to teach. I try to encourage you to look at your charts and call in, get a reading. If you're interested in getting a reading, the number is 347-994-3365. And we have a lot going on in the sky. It's kind of been an ongoing thing for a while. But I wanted to talk really quick before I get into all that about my website and what's going on with that, because I just posted the, what month are we in? April readings, the April horoscopes. So I wanted to encourage you to go over to that. And the website is astrologerangel.com. And you can check that out there. And also, I wanted to encourage you to go to iTunes and give me a review. Let people know you're listening. Tell them what you think so that they can find me a little bit easier. And also, drop me a line. Send a comment on my page, my Facebook page. It's AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. And I'd love to hear from you. So anyway, that being said, it's been an interesting week. I have another website called dottedsky.com, and on that site I have a little bit more of my day-to-day life and the art that I do, the farm I live on, things like that. And I posted this week a little reading that a friend of my friend Mindy had given me, and it's really interesting because I get a reading from her about every month, I would think. And it happens that we trade out readings. And I've been having this energy coming through, and it came through again. And she told me that Robert E. Lee came through for me, which I find really interesting because I'm a Midwesterner, but I live in the South. I live in Florida, which a lot of people don't think of as the South. But when you get away from the urban area, it is very Southern. I have a lot of country people around me out here in the country. And that means that, they're shooting target practice out there, and there are animals, and it's very rural. And so, it's an interesting juxtaposition having this energy come through, because Robert E. Lee, I don't know if you follow me in other blog media, you'll know that I'm pretty adamant against the Confederate flag, or the Union Jack, as they call it. Not the Union Jack, that's England, but the Stars and Bars, which is the X with the stars. It's, very rebel flag, I think it's called. So I found it really interesting that Robert E. Lee came through because he was the general on the Confederate Army side. So anyway, this blog that I posted is basically an overview of that reading, and he came through and he talked to me and basically was encouraging me because of a lot of the things I've been going through personally lately. And anyway, it's a really interesting read, and you might want to look into it. The only reason I bring it up is because when he came through, it was about 5 days ago. He said, April 12th, the floodwaters. Well, there will be a flood of waters, or something like that. And my friend Mindy said, well, what's April 12th? And because she's getting April 12th, and I'm like, well, there's nothing I know of in my personal birthdays or anything that relates to April 12th. But it just so happens we looked it up on Wikipedia, and April 12th is the very beginning, considered to be the first day of the Civil War. So I found that quite interesting that he came through within a few days, and he's come through a couple other times in my readings. And he's a very interesting person, actually. But I looked him up a little bit more because I really had not researched him. And there's some information in this blog that I posted. But today is April 12th. And at the end of the reading, she said that he would send me an owl. And I find it really interesting because I don't really see a lot of owls. I know they're kind of big here and there, and I see them once in a while. Of course, I'm not paying attention much, but they do come across my day and my life. And I have not seen a flying owl, which I kind of thought he was going to send me a flying owl, but I'm not kidding you. I've had about 15 owls in the last 5 days that I've seen in various places, and my friend posted something, and she's like, oh, yeah, and there's an owl right there. And there was a lady with a T-shirt of an owl. There was a lady who had a necklace of an owl. They're just everywhere. They're on my social media. They're just everywhere. So anyway, Robert, I saw one this morning. I was leaving Target. I bought some groceries this morning, and I was leaving, and there was someone on his cell phone standing there at the exit to Target, and I looked at his shirt, and there was a big owl in graphic design on it, and I just smiled to myself. I'm like, yep, Robert E. Lee is following me into Target. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So we're going to talk about Mars retrograde, which is coming up pretty quickly. First, we're going to talk about what's going on in the sky right now. And at 11 a.m. anyway in Orlando, Florida, and let me just update it because I've got the chart from when I started the show at 11, but it is now 11:07. And when it was 11, it was 28 degrees of Cancer rising. Now, 7 minutes later, it's it's Gemini. Now it's 0 degrees Cancer. That's why I updated it, because now it makes it a nice, neat chart, and everything's at 0 on the horizon. So the moon just went into Cancer, and I don't know if you felt it, but I've felt it, because lately I've been really feeling, anytime the moon is in a water sign, I've just been feeling so sensitive and emotional. So if you feel that today, that's a big reason why. So moon in Orlando, the moon just is about to rise on the horizon. And it's so funny because every night I've been looking at the sky, and just about 10 o'clock when I go to bed, I look to the west, and there's the moon, a beautiful sliver crescent moon going down, and I'm thinking to myself, how is that going down already? I didn't even notice it in the sky tonight or during the day, but there you have it. So it is just about to rise on the eastern horizon. And so if you think about it today, look up at the sky. It's a really cute little crescent moon, and it's waxing because we just had the new moon last weekend in Aries, and now it's going up into Cancer, and it's starting to increase. So emotions today definitely will be increasing. It's interesting. My son and I are going to have lunch after this show, and he is hot and heavy into his studies and work and everything, and I'm very excited to spend some time with him because I don't get to a whole lot. He lives with his dad most of the time, although that's only about 5 or 6 miles away. So I could see him. I do see him periodically, but we're actually getting together, which is kind of a rarity. So that's nice. But yeah, connecting to family, connecting to kids, and the mother energy is really strong today. So, know that the next couple days you're going to probably feel more sensitive, maybe even want to withdraw and go into your cocoon or go into your shell, as it were. So just be aware of that. We've got Jupiter at 20 degrees Virgo, and he is in the last, 3 weeks of his time retrograde. So we only have, I'm going, yay, only a couple weeks left before he goes direct on the 9th of May. So he's just wrapping up those issues around detachment and expansion of Virgo energy. It may be, again, it's the home, or not the home, the work, health, medical issues. It can be military, it can be accidents. So still be aware of the potential for accidents. We've got, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about some type of marine accident coming up. Neptune is at 11 degrees today now. Just went to 11, and he's very slow. So he was at 10, 10, 10, 10, and now today 11:02. So he just went to 11 degrees. And then he's coming within 3 degrees of Jupiter, which will finish at 13. So they're going to be almost exact in opposition before Jupiter goes direct. So there's some really strong energy around the emotion. Really, the Virgo energy is much more detached and kind of analytical. And Neptune is very much about expressing itself in a large emotional way, in intuition, and it's through the emotions. So if you're not paying attention to your emotions, chances are you're probably going to be drowsy anyway, because that's what Neptune does. And he talks to us very much intuitively through our sleep and our dreams. And this last week I've been having a lot of dreams of famous people for some reason. I dreamed, I believe it was Taylor Swift one day, and I think the very next day I dreamed of Ed Sheeran. And yeah, I think maybe even Ashton Kutcher was in a dream this week. So lots of celebrities. I always have a lot of celebrity dreams, which is kind of funny. Jupiter, again, just wrapping up, it's in the middle section. So the middle section, if you go by decans, it's the first section, 0 through 15, is Virgo, and then the next is Capricorn, the last is Taurus. So we're going back into the first decan, which is, I don't know, some people say decadent. I think it's decant. Anyway, the first one, which is Virgo. So it is about details and about altruism and service to others. And, you know, what are you doing physically? Like, I've ramped up my exercise routine at this time so that can help us during this energy. Then we have the North Node at 21 degrees, retrograde. So, again, it's a reiteration, because Jupiter and the North Node are both very much expansive, more fortunate energies. They really are trying to help us and expand positivity in our world. So it's really, the energies right now are trying to show us things that will help us, especially in the physical realm, in exercise, health, the lower half of the body. These are kind of the focal points. It can also be education or teachers, specifically teachers, and then, like I said, some military energy going on with Virgo too. Okay, Mars conjunct Saturn. Mars and Saturn, yeah, they're both really strong energies of accomplishment and drive and success and getting us ready for the future, getting us ready for our career. Now, Saturn is the career, it is life purpose, and he's trying to create those structures for us. And right now, because he's retrograde, he is pulling in and starting to really look at that spiritual. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I just got notified that I have 90 seconds left, so something's not right with this show. Which tells me that there's probably a mistake in setting it up. So hold on. I do have callers. I do want to take your calls, but I'm going to really quickly, I think I'm going to have to create another show to get this situation taken care of. So I apologize for that. I think I just forgot to set it up for an hour, and it only got set up for a minute. So yikes. Let me see what I can do. I wonder if I can edit it and add time at this point. It's not going to let me add time. Darn it. Okay, well, I'm just going to set up another 45-minute show if it'll let me do that really quickly. And that really sucks. Oh, okay. I'll just set it up to go live as soon as I think I'm going to end the show, this segment of the show, and then I'm going to open it back up. Now let me see if I can. I'm sorry. I totally apologize for this. Let's see if I can. Now I'm just going to do it as a go live. So I'm going to end this show, and then we're going to get back to it, and then I'll just go live. Hi, I'm back. Thank you very much for coming back. I apologize. That was my fault, and that's too funny. I've been having so many issues with electronics lately, it's not surprising that Neptune's having its way with all my Virgo mindset, not even thinking straight when I set this show up. And I even did it in advance. I was so proud of myself instead of waiting till the last minute to set it up. But okay. Anyway, okay, picking back up, because I'm going to edit this. If you want to hear the whole thing uninterrupted, I will edit it and probably repost it. And also, it goes up on the astrologerangel.com website, the link to the YouTube videos. I post all of my shows every week with YouTube, and so you can also find it there probably tomorrow if you're interested in finding it all uninterrupted. Okay, so we were talking about Mars and Saturn, and again, the drive to do things and have it turn out well. And currently, because Saturn's retrograde, it's really triggering us spiritually, and we're not necessarily able to connect into the drive. Mars is wanting to do something, and pretty much Mars is butting heads right into Saturn going, hey, let's do it. Yeah, we're going. And Saturn saying, yeah, but I can't. I have to think about this and that, and it's not going the way we thought it was going to go. And so now we have to really think about it. And so it's kind of a difficult time right now for Sagittarians for sure. Probably Virgo and Gemini and Pisces as well, because that same energy, it's not going smoothly. We're having to reevaluate, and the action has been curtailed. Now, that being said, Mars is still moving forward until the 17th, I want to say. Let me look real quick. I think it's even sooner than that. It says the 17th, but I thought it was... What's today? The 12th. Yes. So it's only 5 days. So that's correct. I will just look it up exactly and tell you the time. How about that? 8:14 a.m. on Sunday the 17th. So we have till Sunday to get things done. And honestly, I find that really interesting because I haven't verified it, but I heard that the IRS is extending the deadline because of, I don't know. See, Friday would be the 15th. I can't imagine why it would extend the deadline for filing. So I don't know. That's probably not accurate. I bet they aren't. But it's interesting because it's really literally taking the action and completing it by Friday. And Sunday, Mars goes back. So I personally want to get my taxes in before Mars goes retrograde, because it's going to be much more fortuitous, in my opinion. Sagittarius is the energy of fortune. And Mars in Sagittarius with Saturn right there. Saturn rules more of the government and the structure around that. So I would get my taxes in before Mars retrogrades, because you don't want to have to do them over. But the other thing, and this is part of what I was going to talk about today, the other side of it is if you do it when the moon is at the last few degrees and void, of course, there's less likelihood, I'm not guaranteeing it, but there's less likelihood something's going to happen with your taxes, that it will just go on as they were done. So I'm aiming for the end degrees of either moon in Cancer or moon in Leo. And Leo is a pretty fun, gregarious energy for taxes. So it also rules gambling, and I think it's quite fortunate. So that could be a really good energy to wrap up your taxes in the end degrees of Leo. And if you're wondering when that is, it is on the 15th. So your tax person is not going to be too happy with you. I'm just trying to find out. Let me see. The 16th, it actually is void, of course. So that probably would not be the best. And so that means I'm aiming for my taxes to be in on Wednesday. Or even, preferably Wednesday. They can still go as far as Thursday morning until 10. But, yeah, that would be my preference. So if you're interested, that's what I advise. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to get back to Mars, too, a little bit. I haven't really touched on it. I have touched on it. I haven't gotten deep into it. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. I am so sorry that this show has been a little in upheaval. I know I've apologized a few times, but it kind of puts me off of, my focus a little bit. So I sound a little bit scattered right now, and that's why. So Anyway, Pluto at 17 Capricorn, and that means that he is really, I have Capricorn friends and I feel so much for them. He's really in a peak point of trying to get through on the energies of shift and change, and ideology is not working. I have one of my friends is really, Pluto's on her Saturn, and it's just really intense for her, wanting to culminate the energy of her Saturn, which falls in the house of children. So she's getting this really strong urge to start a family, and she's, obviously older. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but she's older, in her 20s. So she's just got this really strong urge, and her romantic life isn't necessarily where she wants it to be. So she's having this huge struggle with Pluto on her Saturn. But Pluto is going to retrograde, which means that we're going to go back over. I mean, all the retrogrades mean to go back over what we're dealing with through the energy that's expressed in that vein. So, for Pluto and Capricorn right now, it is about authoritarians, people in charge, leaders, things like that. But 17 degrees would be the Virgo energy. So I found that really interesting that it's now in the Virgo energy. Jupiter is going back into the Virgo energy, and the double Virgo, the first first 10 degrees. Oh gosh, I just had. I probably shouldn't even do a show with Neptune opposite all of my Virgo. Anyway, Jupiter is not in the Virgo decan. It's in the Capricorn decan. So that's interesting because Pluto's in the Virgo decan and Jupiter is in the Capricorn decan. So that just means that it's in the middle 10 degrees. I don't know why I was thinking it was 15. It's actually 10. Duh. So, maybe I should just start over this whole show. Okay, but that's okay. You know what? People are fallible, and I am one. So there you go. Okay, so anyway, but Pluto is in trine to Jupiter, so this is a very intense time of shift of ideology and structure, and the details and the organization of it, the labeling and the separating into separate piles, and that's what a Virgo does. Virgo likes to have things neat and clean. Not all of them, but most of them are into orderliness and neatness, and Capricorn is the energy of organizing and labeling and defining and wanting, well, actually Virgo is very much defining too, but Capricorn wants everything compartmentalized, and the two are working together right now. And guess what? Mercury is at 11 degrees Taurus. So Mercury at 11 Taurus is filling out this grand trine energy that it's working into. And so it is about thought, about communication. It probably is a bit of upheaval in the markets right now. It is about the economy. Capricorn is about the people who are running the economy and the truth coming out. I haven't watched the news. I don't know if anything's coming out today about this, but it wouldn't surprise me. There's probably some kind of energy coming and brewing about foreign exchange, foreign markets, and possibly foreign banking and mortgages. And again, the mortgage industry. Jupiter is in Virgo, so it's about details and helping and service. Pluto is the structure. So they're all in the earth energy. So it is about material goods and the material world. This is not about the fuzzy, warm, emotional side of life in those three planets. So they're bringing in all these energies that mix into the soup, so to speak. Okay, and let's see. I'm just going to move around the chart real quick, talk a little bit about Mars, and then take some calls. Okay, so Venus is at 8 degrees Aries, and she is exactly trine to Mars at 8 degrees Sagittarius. So for a beautiful moment in time, we've got Venus in trine to Mars. Lovely, lovely. So Venus is acting in her masculine energy. She is much more sexual, much more sensual. She doesn't take anything from anybody. She's speaking her mind. She knows what she wants. She just goes after. She's more impulsive. She just came out of Pisces, so she was very much bogged down by the emotion, but she's not bogged down by the emotion anymore. She's got a fire in her, and she wants to get it going. Let's do it. So, trining Mars, she's wanting to culminate something. She's wanting to move forward with the ideas, with the learning and the understanding and the growth. And so that means that's coming out of our lives. We're wanting to take action towards our growth, towards our spiritual drive. We are seeing much more clearly where we want to go. Probably is somewhere we haven't been before. Something maybe a little bit more exciting, more adventurous. And then Saturn is saying, yes, 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 I understand. I get it. But we're going to be going over some energy before you get there. You're going to get there at the end of this year. You will get there at the end of this year. But Mars wants to do the physical action. He's doing it. He's putting it out there. And Saturn's going to have him redo it. So I've got something going on in my world, and I know it's starting. We're doing it in the evening on Saturday. That's the beginning of it. And so chances are there are going to be some redos or some shifts and changes. But that's okay. We'll just run with it. We'll work with it, and we'll see what happens. So, I am an astrologer, but I don't always get the choice. So, yeah, I mean, definitely you're going to be drawn to manifesting it and making it real. I think this is a good time for setting it in motion because Saturn is right there gripping Mars. And when Mars goes retrograde, then we are going to have an increased energy of moving back over it and questioning why we started it, because it's going to be frustrating. We're going, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? It's so difficult. We have Venus in Aries. We have Uranus conjunct the Sun at 20. Well, Uranus is at 20, Sun's at 23. So they're right next to each other. The Sun has moved past Uranus, but it was incredibly intense. Mercury was there for a while, and now he's moved on to Taurus. So it's about sales. It can be about the property around sales, the property around retail. I had a friend, I think I mentioned it last week, she opened up a new boutique, this grand opening last Friday night. So it is about putting yourself out there, and the drive to do it incredibly strong. 16 Saturn is still trining Uranus in Aries. They're wanting to make it go forward. By the time we get heavy into the summer, Uranus and Saturn are going to be going backwards. So we're going to be questioning. We're going to be wondering, because they're about ideas and they're about knowledge and exploring other opportunities, and what are we going to do having to go back over. It is so frustrating. I think out of any energy in the zodiac, Aries, any of the fire signs, having to go retrograde in trine or conjunction to other planets retrograding, especially Mars, which is taking action, it is like we're a horse wanting to go the last bit across the finish line and culminate it, but we can't because we're being held back. And this is a great analogy because there are other horses around, and if we went and we're getting close to the finish line, but we're not there, and if we went all out, we might lose the energy at the finish line. There might be something that comes up, some other horse that comes up behind us and overtakes us in the last second because we haven't considered that there's something else going on. So this energy is really helping us find out what else is going on. What other energies have we not considered? And with Uranus, it's other people's input. It's networking. It's connecting and connectedness to a collective mindset. And then there's something that hasn't been considered. And then on the other side, which is really great, is Sagittarius is also about other people. These are energies of the collective and interacting with groups of people in large scale. So there is definitely an audience issue with it. So if you're thinking about work, the audience issue is strongly connected to this. Okay, so let's see, the Sun, Uranus, Venus, Neptune. I think I've talked about all the individual planets. So Mars retrograde, taking the energy that is the youthful enthusiasm. Mars rules Aries. It is youthful enthusiasm, hitting it hard, hitting it strong, butting the head, not wanting to stop to look and see what's going on around you, just knowing that you have a drive, and it is meant to be a drive. And I think more so this year than any other year I've really talked or studied astrology or expressed what I understand about astrology. This is a year of really owning the energy of the signs. This is the time to really be in our own individual energy. Uranus and Sun conjunct, but even Uranus and Aries. It is about your identity and who you are as an individual. It's the individuality of the situation. Mars is the forward momentum to express your drive and your desire to learn and understand and educate yourself. And as he is almost coming up on Saturn, wanting to make it concrete, he goes, I've got to go back. And so he's going to turn around and he's going to go back towards the past. He's going to go back and reevaluate and review where he's been. And he can be more sensitive at that time because he's pulling away from his natural drive and natural impetus. So turning inward again, having other people not necessarily support what he's doing. And it is, again, about the individual. So we're learning about ourselves and how we can best nurture ourselves. So Jupiter, because Mars is in Sagittarius, the ruler of Sagittarius is retrograde as well. So it is strongly calling us to, we do want to expand, again, because they're both trying to work towards the same end, but in different capacities. Trying to understand other people. And really this energy, in my mind, is telling us that we do have a wonderful, youthful enthusiasm and energy towards going forward, but we need to pay attention to others' needs because we are being held back by that. And Jupiter in Virgo is there because the Virgo energy is meant to be owned. So wherever Virgo is in your chart, that's where you own your expansion. And just as an example, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Just as an example, my chart, I have 4 planets in Virgo. So Mercury, Uranus, Pluto, and Sun in that order. So right now, Jupiter is triggering my Uranus. It's, I believe, on the exact degree of my Uranus, 14 degrees. So it's about my own individuality, which, as an example, you spend your life trying to exert your individuality. And for me, it's in Virgo. So my nature is to help others. But as time went on, helping others has become more difficult because the Uranus energy, which is now being triggered, and Jupiter, which is freedom loving, is saying, okay, you do this, but are you free? Are you feeling like you're taking care of yourself? Which Jupiter wants us to take care of ourselves. So even though it is about service, are you being of service to yourself? And how are you being of service to yourself? It is not saying that the altruism for other people can't happen, but you absolutely have to pay attention to your needs. And right now, expressly, with Jupiter retrograde in your sign, in the sign of Virgo, pay attention to what you can give yourself. And Virgo is probably the biggest sign of, no, it's okay. I don't need to take care of myself. I'll put my needs last and take care of others first. And Cancer can do it as well. So, and Capricorn. Cancer, Capricorn, and Virgo are probably the biggest of giving up sense of self for others. Not saying others don't do that, but definitely those signs are probably primarily the ones that are going to do something for others and then take care of their needs last. This is a time of taking care of your needs. If it isn't going as you want it to go, then slow down and pay attention to the messages coming through from Spirit, because you're being shown, and you're being shown in your environment in the reflection of the people and how they behave towards you. So anyway, I don't know. I suppose I could go on and on about that, but I do want to share that because it's probably more difficult. We've got Neptune opposing Jupiter and Saturn squaring Jupiter. And so we've got this trine, the T-square in the sky of these energies really, kind of starting to be a little more gritty and really churn up some of the issues. And guilt, I would say guilt is a big issue right now too. Not wanting necessarily to take care of yourself, or guilty because you do want to take care of yourself. It is about learning how to detach. Neptune breaks the walls down, and Saturn builds them up. So there's this disconnect between the ability to be selfish versus the ability to be, or being self-absorbed versus selfish. I think selfish is healthy, self-absorbed is unhealthy. Okay. That being said, I am going to take a 1-minute break, and then I'm going to take our 2 callers, and I'm excited. And if you would like a call, please do call in 347-994-3365, and we'll be right back as soon as I find my music. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's just an electronic funky day. Here we go. Okay, that was so nice. I needed that. So welcome back. This is the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk Radio, and my name is Shelley Overton. So we're going to take calls now. Hi, 720. Thank you so much for waiting and bearing with me through all this.
Hi, Shelley.
Hi.
My birthday is October 4th, 1988.
Okay, hang on one second. Have you called the show before?
I haven't. I've always listened, but I'm excited to get through.
Yay. Okay, what's your name?
It's Felicia.
Alicia?
It's Felicia.
Oh, okay, hang on one second. I'm sorry, SEL?
With an F, like Frank.
Oh,
like
Felicia.
FEL.
Oh,
I'm
sorry. It comes across as an S, like in Shelley, but
okay. No worries.
I just feel really apologetic today because of what I did on the show, but oh well, it happens. Okay, and you said October 4th?
Yeah.
And
1988.
Wait, 88. Okay. And what time?
7:34 p.m.
Okay. Where about?
Longmont, Colorado.
Awesome. Another Colorado native. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was born in Boulder, so I am very much.
Very cool.
And my heart is in Colorado. So what can I do for you?
I'm trying to move back.
Are you? I so want to move back. I'm like, when I left, I thought, I think I've done the Colorado thing, and I never thought I'd move. But then I realized, living in Florida, that I'm very much a Western girl and need to be back in the West. So Where are you at now, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm in Utah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're still in the West, so that's cool. But yeah, Colorado's special. So
Yeah, I love it.
what can I do for you?
I just had a question. Like right now, I guess just looking at my chart, what do you see as far as career? Like right now, I'm working on becoming an artist, and like, I want to open a shop and everything, but like I just kind of want to see what you think.
Okay, well, you have Saturn at 26 Sagittarius, and it is in the Sagittarius house. So, again, it is the energy of higher education. So that can even be going back to school, which I wouldn't be surprised if you did. But most of your Sagittarius falls in your eighth house, and so right now it's about doing your research, which is a real strong Scorpio energy because that's the house that you're in, is the Scorpio house. I do think that you're going to be coming up on your career is pretty much going to be culminating soon, but you're kind of still in the learning and educational stages of it. So right now Saturn's at 16. It needs to get to 26. I'm just looking up how long that is. That'll be February of next year. So it's kind of a slow burn is really kind of what I'm getting at. That I think after the Saturn retrogrades is going to be a much better time for you, because then Saturn will be going forward from August all the way through to February of next year. And that's really when it's going to be like, okay, now this has got to happen. So you really have a couple months until it goes retrograde. And then next year, it's going to be retrograding, really going over your Saturn return. So at that point, it's really more about like, no, you need to make this happen. Right now, you're starting to feel it because Saturn is in the same sign that you have it natally, but it's not in the same house that you have it. So it's really asking you to do your research, find out probably more the emotional side of why you haven't gotten to where you wanted to go before, okay? And with Saturn and Mars in the eighth house, it's about money from other people. So I don't know if you have your own money, but definitely there's some other opportunities for getting money from someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I'm married right now, and like,
okay.
I'm working
on
you were. Doing paintings and everything, and like, my husband like supports us, but I'm just like
awesome.
You said, the education, and I already have like my bachelor's degree, so I don't know like with Saturn in the ninth, or in the eighth, or what were you saying about like education?
No, Saturn's just over into your educational house. So what I do think is that there is an opportunity to move somewhere coming up for you within the year. Okay, I don't know if you're planning on moving.
Yeah,
but
we are.
When that's right. You told me you wanted to go to Colorado. Yeah, I think that it looks better for you later in the year, and I think that's going to be a better environment for you. I also think that by the end of next year, that's when things are good. I think entrepreneurship is absolutely in your chart. You have Saturn conjunct Uranus, which is very much about that. It's about ownership of your own business. Are you going to teach at all? I think honestly, that's the thing I would encourage you to do is teach painting and teach it.
I was actually kind of thinking with children, like it kind of would be cool to be an art teacher.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back to school. I mean, I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, but I don't.
Okay, a couple different things, because I'm an artist as well, and I understand, wanting to teach, and like in the environment of a school, yeah, you need to have some type of teacher certificate. Mm-hmm. So that isn't necessarily that large of an investment to try and do if you're going to teach children like for the school system. But you can also, and I can tell you this, there are a lot of people who want an art camp for the kids over the summer. And you are coming up on the summer here in a couple months. So even if you just did it where you're at, you could get your feet wet and say, hey, I will take 5 to 10 kids. I'll do it 2 hours every Saturday morning or whatever fits for you. then you can start to get into that realm, which I think would be a really good thing for you to kind of get an idea of what you want to do with that. And then I do think you're going to be moving. End of the year probably is more likely than earlier. Saturn moving out of your 8th house, which happens, I think I said November, maybe. Oh, hang on a second. I take it back. December 25. No, it'll be January of next year. So in January, when Saturn gets out of your 8th house, then that's going to be the time that, well, I mean, I'm not saying you won't move before then, but I think that for you, it's going to be like a new year, fresh start, and it really is the culmination of getting your career the way you want it, because Saturn will be exactly on Saturn where it was when you were born. That's your life purpose. Saturn is your life purpose. And not only is Saturn going to be strongly triggering this energy, gets out of Sagittarius, which is, a year and a half from now, it's going to be really triggering like your ability to make it happen. And I know it seems like a long time, but I'm looking at your chart and you've got Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all at like within 10 degrees of each other up there in your 9th house. So there's a high concentration of energy that you're going to be really experiencing when Saturn goes over those planets. And what's going to happen is it's going to rearrange your world a bit and what your drive is expressing. Like you're going to be going, no, I can't do that, literally, quote, do that anymore. You're going to realize that some of the structures are going to change, especially when Saturn gets out of Sagittarius into Capricorn. That there's going to be some shift. And that could be really good for you, because that could also mean, like, Capricorn rules bricks and mortar schools, and it's Neptune. So Saturn's on your Neptune says you're making your dream come true. And so I'm going to give you the dates on that, okay, if you have a pen and paper. So what you're looking for is Saturn on your Neptune, which is at 7 degrees Capricorn. February of 2018, February 25th of 2018 through the 11th of March 2018 is a really, really strong time for you, because Saturn on Neptune, it's like the culmination of your dream, and you're going to be hitting it really hard at that point. Also, Saturn, most of next year is going to be about owning your vision and your dream for what you want and moving, okay? So that's all next year's story, and it starts in November. Well, it doesn't start in November of this year. It starts in January of next year. At the end of January 2017 is when Saturn is coming up on your natal Saturn. And by February, the exact date is the 18th, you have your Saturn at 26. But it isn't exactly the return until the exact day of your Saturn return is the 4th of March 2017. Okay?
Okay. And then do you see, like, pregnancy at all? Because, like, we're trying to
I think
have children.
the end of this year is going to be better for that. Virgo energy tends to be more of a loner hermit energy, and Jupiter and Virgo, yes, it's in the house of children, and Virgos are really good parents, but it's retrograde right now. So when Jupiter goes direct, definitely, I think that there's definitely some issues, and I want to say if you've been trying and it's not happening, it has to do with your desire to be able to give yourself to children, in a spiritual sense. So I think that's going to clear up when Jupiter goes direct, and it's going to be even better after it gets past. Literally right when it gets to 13, it's on your south node. So this has to do with past lives. And honestly, I want to say it's like a vow, like you might have been a nun, or you might have been someone who is very not embracing of children, because the Virgo South Node energy is more of a loner. So it could be the person who goes a whole life without having children, and they can be quite content doing that. Jupiter, right on that spot, is really expanding the past life connection. So when Jupiter goes forward, he's going to wrapping up and culminating all that loner type energy, that the giving of the self and not having to deal with children. When he gets to Libra, that's the best time, because when he gets to Libra, it's about commitment to the partner and connecting it expresses love, which is Venus. And I think that's going to be a better time for you. And that happens September 9th. So I would honestly say, and then also when a planet exits a house, it tends to give you what it was not giving you when it was transiting the house. So when he gets out into Libra, then he's going to be like, okay, whoosh, and he's Jupiter, he's fortune. So I would say September, October is going to be a great time for that. And if there were any physical reasons you're not having kids, I think that would be a time when you would tend to that if that's an issue. I'm not saying it is, but yeah. So I don't really know the details, so all that. I'm telling you, if those are issues, you'll find out later. So I think, yeah, definitely October. Jupiter is a great expansive energy, probably going to help you. It could happen anytime after, May 9th. May 9th, Jupiter goes direct. That's going to be great. So between May 9th and October, you're still in the Virgo, you're still in work. You're going to probably be putting more energy into children or into the idea of children. So I think in September is a really great time. But yeah, okay, Jupiter in your house of children definitely could expand that part of your life as well. But and it is also the energy of teaching children. I want to say that. This summer, I would also reiterate, because of that aspect, the teaching art to children is really, it's twice in your chart, and that tells me that it's like this is a message you're getting, that you really need to look into maybe doing it this summer.
Well, and I've worked summer camps with kids before when I was younger.
Awesome. Uh-huh.
But,
very cool.
But as far as opening my website to sell my art, when do you think I should do that?
That
I would say Jupiter goes direct.
Yeah, after Mercury goes direct. Mercury retrogrades in Taurus, and after that would be much better, because Mercury rules communications and electronics. Wait till all that, then you don't have to redo it, which should be the 22nd of May. So, okay. Yeah, I would wait. 22nd of May, probably optimal would be even be June, but yeah. So.
All right, well, thank you.
It goes well for you. I mean, it's going to. There's a lot I see in a chart. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to go into a full reading, but you're welcome to look me up on astrologerangel.com if you want a bigger reading. I could tell you much more. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Right,
okay, bye. Okay, let's take 619. Hi, 619. How are you?
Good. Shelley, it's Steve. I'm calling from a different phone today.
Hi, Steve. What up with that?
Yeah.
That's
fine. No problem, but well, yeah.
What can I do for you?
I just want to know what's the best way to use the energies of the Grand Trine in Earth, because I was looking forward to Jupiter being in Virgo this year, but I really haven't felt the blessing so far.
I know, right?
You too? You feel the same way?
You still haven't felt. I lost the last word you say. You still haven't
felt. I really
haven't
felt the blessings of it.
Yeah, I actually have, but definitely having it retrograde is strongly affecting me, because it's all over my planets in my chart, and you're having it exactly. You're a Jupiter return right now. So what it's doing is it's expanding the energy that you've already got in your chart, like who you are and, all the energy around your sense of self, because you have a Virgo rising.
Right.
That Virgo rising, and Virgo is difficult. I'm sorry, I've got 4 planets in. I think I have the right to say it. It's not an easy sign.
2 planets, if you include the sun.
Yeah. I've got Sun. You've got Sun. You've got Sun and Jupiter. So your fortune, historically, your fortune has come from being able to help others, but not losing sight of yourself. Jupiter return on your Jupiter is reminding you, don't lose sight of yourself. And this is something I've struggled in my life with the Jupiter/Sagittarius energy, because there is, they don't worry about others a lot. They're very much in their own energy, and because of that altruism of Virgo, it's Like, no, you got to give of yourself. You don't have to. Like, it's the complete opposite. It's like, no, you don't have a self. You just give it to others. And Jupiter in Virgo is saying, no, 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 that's not right. You have to think about you for a bit. And that's honestly the beauty of Jupiter in Virgo right now is like, I can think about myself. I can be selfish for a change. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much, you know.
Right.
So really, if you're not feeling it, it's because you're probably not tending to your needs as much as you should. So you have a lot. So looking at your chart, you've got 3 planets in Leo in the 12th house, which really dampens the Leo energy. Because the Leo energy, you have Uranus conjunct Venus, and then you have a late degree Pluto at 29 Leo.
When you place the Uranus in the 11th house?
On this chart, I do a porphyry, so that probably kicked them over to your 12th. I just find the porphyry in my world has been much more accurate to things that, you know, go on to events. So for me, it's the 12th. Tell me, you know, do you have more of the leadership energy around friendship and you try to get the attention, or are you more like, okay, I have it, but I have a difficult time expressing it?
The latter, I would say.
Yeah. So that's Uranus, Venus in the 12th, which is like, I so should be in charge. I so should be the center of attention. Darn it. I just don't feel comfortable in the spotlight.
Well, with me, it feels like it's not the discomfort so much as not the need for self-aggrandizement. That's how I feel.
Right, exactly. And that's part of your path, you know. But the beauty is you have a 1 degree north node in Sagittarius. So, and you also have the south node at the midheaven. So you do have, like, historically you've been able to, and may not, I mean, this lifetime, you feel most comfortable being able to teach. You know, you're a teacher. You're expressing what you understand to be your truth out there to the world, and that's where the spotlight is. You have south node at 1 degree, 24 minutes retrograde on the midheaven, and the midheaven is 1 minute 1 degree 27 minutes. So they're literally 3 minutes of time apart. So basically, your south node is your midheaven, and that means you are probably famous in a past life. You are an orator. You are someone who connected to the masses.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Do you feel that? Yeah, like a teacher or yeah. So the north node, which is also, it's only 2 small degrees, 3 degrees off of your Saturn, but your Saturn's in Scorpio, and your Saturn is culminating, wrapping up the old story. It's saying, you know, your old stories about research, detail. I mean, definitely Scorpio can be that teacher energy too. Yeah, it's about understanding. It's psychology. And the North Node wants you to express yourself. Really what I'm seeing the North Node is saying you want to travel. You want your home to be in other countries. And Saturn and Mars are both saying that to you. And Jupiter is saying it's time to shift it up and change it and move to some other energy, to a new energy. And the retrograde is shoring up your sense of entitlement to do that, because Virgo is probably the sign that does not feel entitled to anything. It feels very self-effacing, like no, I can't ask the universe for anything. I can't ask for what I really want. No, I'm not worthy. Well, when you realize that you are worthy, it's going to culminate. But right now, Jupiter's retrograde till May 9th. I'm going to hit, I mean, people are going to get tired of hearing this.
I've heard it.
Yeah, so after May 9th, when Jupiter goes direct, it's going to go through Virgo, and as of September 9th, it'll go into Libra. And at that point, you're going to be free to connect to a partner. I definitely see love coming in for you if you're not already in that situation. Jupiter in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. It is the second house. Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house, which is also ruled by Venus. And Venus is love. And Jupiter expands that. But Jupiter rules long distance and foreign culture. So there's someone of another culture coming in for you, or who lives in another place. And I think that's where I think you're going to end up moving, because you have Saturn going through your house of home and family. By the time Saturn gets through that whole house, and again, like the other caller, when Saturn gets to Capricorn, you're going to end up, you know, moving and shoring up that new home life. You know, it definitely, I see things coming in for you that you have wanted and have not necessarily gotten the way you wanted, it's coming in. I've got chills all over when I'm telling you this. I know it's coming in for you. There is the strong energy of self in your first house and in the house of commitment to others. You need to pay attention to you because you have Mars in Pisces, Moon in Pisces, and the Moon was in your 12th house of altruism and service, and your Mars was in the house of relationships. So your story in this life, along with Jupiter and the Sun in Virgo, has been, how do I just go with the flow, which is your Pisces. Oh, I just go with the flow, whatever you want, that's okay. And then your Virgo in the first house is like, you know what, and you have 2 planets in Libra. I mean, like a huge quantity. I mean, I'm looking at your chart. I mean, I understand your chart on so many levels because I have my Venus, my Venus is right near your Uranus in Leo.
Okay.
And so there's this sense of wanting to connect to another person and relating. You want to relate, but at the same time, you want it to be unique and exciting and different and creative. And so this Leo energy for you is very much about the bond with others. And it's in the 12th house, which means you break down the barriers. So that acts a lot like Scorpio, because the connectedness of Leo in the sign of Pisces, breaking down the barriers, Scorpio wants to merge. And that's what that energy does for you. So you have all this energy, and Pluto, ruler of Scorpio, is in the 12th house too. So you're like, can I just creatively merge with another human being? I just want to understand the creative nature and how to blend and universal love, and that's what you're about. And you want to give that to the world as well, that sense of creativity and universal love. Then you have Jupiter, Virgo, and the Sun in Virgo going, okay, I'm going to give myself, I'm going to teach people about things, and I'm going to be selfless in it. And then you've got Mercury, Neptune. Neptune breaks the barriers down in Libra, so you're like, I can't seem to have a boundary with people. I just want to balance it. Let's just all be peaceful. Just everybody will just get along. And then you have Saturn in Scorpio, which totally is so committed and so loyal and, wants to get to the heart of their love interest and the heart of everything. And even money, it's about value. What's the value of it? So part of your life lesson, your purpose, is learning the value of what you have to express, and the breakdown of what you've learned about motivations and people's desires and who they are, and connectedness to people. And you want to give it because that's the expression house. That's communication and thought. So and it's at the end degree. So this is the culmination of a lifetime. Like your life path is like, okay, we're wrapping up these intense feelings in this lifetime. This is what I chose to come in to experience. And so you had your second Saturn return, and now it's into Sagittarius, and it's like, so Saturn in Sagittarius, Mars in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Virgo, Venus, Uranus, Sun in Aries are all saying, wake up and pay attention to you. Everything. Like so much, I got chills everywhere. It's like, stop it. Stop being so self-effacing. Pluto in Capricorn in your house that's ruled by Leo. It's like you have so much to give, and you've given it all away, and you've let people walk all over you, and it's time to say you're worthy, and you are capable of going out and making this lovely energy happen for yourself. And it's retrograde. A lot of this is retrograde. It's going to be retrograde over the summer. So the message is, when it's retrograde, is to really dig in and understand what the nature of the belief system is and why you haven't expressed it. Okay? Does that make sense?
It does, because with me, being the center tension is like, it's not important. I like it. I want it on one level, but another, it's like I don't feel like I need to be a ham or show off, or, what I'm saying? I'm detached from it. I want it, and yet I don't want it. It's back and forth, back and forth.
Well, you have the energy vibrates within your spirit, okay? When we have planets and signs, that's the energy vibration in our spirit. And I've thought a lot about this lately, because it's like when it's in your chart and the planets are going through that part of the sky and it triggers you. So like right now, you look at, okay, so the sun's up there in the sky. I mean, you don't want to look directly at the sun, but when you look at the sun, if you see it, it's energized right now by the planet Uranus. which is within 3 degrees of where the sun is. So you could go outside today in the sky and see the sun in the sky and know that Uranus is in direct alignment with that sun. And it's energizing it, which is probably why I've had so many electronics issues, and everyone is probably, because Uranus has got added energy going, shoo, that sun is just blazing right there going, shine on people, energy, understanding, fire, intellect, creativity, boom, taking action. And it's wanting you to do that. So in your chart, all the planets that are in your natal chart are in these connectedness and somewhat disconnected. Your Virgo rising, your Virgo sun, your Virgo Jupiter disconnect you from yourself. It doesn't disconnect you from people as much as from you. And you've lost your sense of you. And Jupiter's saying, wake up. You remember who you are. You are a wonderful, interesting person. You are a loving, giving person. And you don't have to give everything away to be a happy person. So quit giving it all away. And all the other planets in your chart, they're transiting right now, are in the areas that trigger the reminder. Okay? Saturn and Mars in Sagittarius went over 1 degree north node for you. After they left Scorpio, which I think was the beginning of the year, and this was the sad thing, they got out of, it might have been September of last year. I'm trying to find the information before I have to end the show because I want to tell this to you.
But if I could just tell you this, one of the other reasons I have not been doing this self-expression stuff is because in the past, I feel like it hasn't brought me anything tangible physically. So it's like a frustration. It's like, what's the point of doing it?
Well, that's what's going on right now for everybody. That's exactly it. Because when the planets get into fire signs and then they retrograde, it's like, I feel the burn. I feel a burn. And that wasn't meant as a political statement, although if you want to take it that way, it's okay. It's like, I'm feeling this incredible, intense drive to make it happen, to do the action, to see the result. The result comes in the earth signs. So Pluto brings the results. Jupiter will bring the result before September because it's in Virgo. After it goes direct on May 9th, between May 9th and September 9th is the result. Okay?
Okay.
Right now, Mercury's in Taurus going, I'm thinking about the tangibles. I'm thinking about the house. I'm thinking about the money, the manifestation of the car, and this and that. Yes, we want it. We have gone so long. I'm telling you, I get it because it's been so much time of air energy and water energy, and the earth energy, I get it. I've been frustrated personally with the earth energy because it seems like it's more restrictive and almost vindictive and harsh. Earth energy is like people who are being mean, people who are being self-absorbed, and it's not really a loving earth energy. I think when Jupiter goes direct, that's when the loving earth energy and the riches of Jupiter will be given to us. Because Jupiter trine, positive in forward motion trine Pluto, is like, okay, here it is. The only exception is Pluto goes retrograde this month within a few days of Mars retrograde in 17th. I think it's Mars retrogrades the 17th, Pluto retrogrades the 18th. So
I've heard it's important to take action before those things happen, right?
Yeah, because then we go back again. But Jupiter going forward is going to be the saving grace of all of this because Jupiter expands, and Jupiter's going to say, no, okay, yeah, that's all going retrograde. You're going to feel irritable and agitated and stuff. Because Pluto, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I'm running way over, Pluto retrograde, it like going forward, it really wants to move towards Aquarius, okay? It's on its way towards Aquarius and an understanding and expression and change. Pluto, the planet Pluto, is about change. It wants to change the ideology of Capricorn. Capricorn's frustrated because all of the structures and the way that they've systematically done things does not get the same result anymore. The Capricorn mindset is, okay, the prescription is I go to work, I work hard, I take ownership, I do all the tasks, I'm going to be rewarded with the pension, with the finances, and I'm going to have a nice house, and everything's tangibly going to be in order. Pluto's saying, what are your true belief systems? Because if you don't truly believe you deserve it, or if you don't truly have if no fear, then you're not going to get it anymore. And it's really bringing out fears because that's what Capricorn is. It's about the fear. The negative side of Capricorn is wanting to control things. So when Pluto goes retrograde, we're going to go and look back at the past and say, oh man, it was so good in the past. I used to know how things would turn out because I would take this action and I would get this, and it's not happening. And it's like the mindset of longing for the good old days and wanting it to be the way it was because it's tradition. It's the structure of the past. That's Capricorn. Pluto is going back and saying, but what is your psyche? What did all those things do to restrict your world that you wouldn't be able to express? So while Pluto's retrograde, it's trying to dig up all the old psychological issues to get rid of them. So the fears come out and the need for the structure, and why isn't it working the same way? So we're having to shift to a new structure, and I can tell you the new structure is about connectedness to spirit, going with the flow, and the sense of individuality versus hierarchical society. And that's a big one. That's really what it is. We're moving to an individualized society where everybody does take ownership for themselves, where everyone was saying, oh, well, they feel so entitled. They're not entitled. They're like needing, they're victims because they don't understand they have power within their lives. This is the time where we're finding our power within our lives. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Sorry. That was a rant, but
No,
it was needed. So I hope that's helped. You are on the path. It's just you don't see the curves coming through the cave on the roller coaster. And I'm telling you, the curves are there. And guess what? The darkness has a purpose just as much as the light. So when we go into the darkness, we're working on the subliminal and the subconscious. So just work on that, and it's going to be fine. The end of the year is going to be phenomenal. Everything is going to culminate between September and December. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's the show for today. Thank you for sticking with me through the bumps and the caves. And we'll talk to you next week. And we'll be talking Mercury retrograde probably next week. So take care. See you later. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Today, Bridget Griffin shared a video of her daily yoga routine, 2 self-help articles, and her new blog called Build Your Inner Bridge with Bridge. Girl, your sharing has turned into oversharing. No worries, Bridge. Geico has some info worth sharing with your 7 blog followers, like how you could save money on your car insurance, update your policy, and report a claim just by visiting geico.com. How's that for building your inner bridge? Bridge? Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.